Hey everyone, my name is Kabi and today we are going to watch the one-on-one game. Happened on the map called Mines of whatever, of a complicated word, I guess. It is Mines of Repentance. And we recently have changed this map a lot, because it used to have the starting positions in the bottom, so it was a C map. There is still C in here, but now it's entirely useless. It's just as a decor, because there isn't anything popping up in there. So the map is actually the land one. And here we are watching the game between Karlsonchik and Ramses. So I believe those are the Russian players. So this is one, the nickname is a bit complicated to be pronounced in English fashion, so we're probably gonna refer him just as a dark player. And also what's interesting about this map is that the actual mana well is quite close to the bases, and it is only protected by the earth elemental, who is not too strong comparing to the fire elemental. And also, oh, alright, we have already changed it. We used to have a bug here where in this mine would be 15k, and in this, the old mine that used to be the main base mine, there was 35k. So you had very little gold in the starting position, but it seems that the guys already fixed that. Anyway, also between the players there is a golden idol, the thing that just passively brings you gold, and also from this position you can try to sort of siege another player's gold mine. I wonder if the tower may be able to make it. I didn't have a chance to play in this map yet, so the random queue didn't choose it for me so far. So it is pretty much the first one-on-one game I'm seeing here, so I'm really wonder how this is gonna be played out. And we see Ramses apparently going for the Dwarven push out of 2 racks with I believe it's gonna be the Warsmith. But since he's also taken up to the second castle, probably he's about at the Bombardier, at least if he has one. Players are quite high ranked, but Bombardier is not guaranteed, so you may be still not having it above the Captain League. Both of the players are below the Captain League, I mean, and they are both here, sitting there in the Warrior League, so they are kept at about 90 foot. But we're gonna see it later when the player will take up to the 3rd tier. As per right now, Karlsonchik seemed to be playing the Orc branch, so into the Chieftain, not adding anything to those 2 goons, also not scouting. While Ramses actually scouting his opponent and watching all the stuff. So here we can see the riders with the chieftain. The strategy that is can be considered not a meta strategy right now, so the majority of the players wouldn't be playing it. I think that players generally think that Alchemist is a bit better than a chieftain, and Eater is better by far, but it is really hard to receive Eater, to open Eater. So many players still missing that guy. Well, the Chieftain is a hero that you obviously have from the start, so you can always refer to it, always use it. But we'll see. So far, Ramses is about to take an elemental, and Carlson at the same time seems to be trying to sneak out both of the chests from his opponent. missing by a bit with this left one, but the radar is placed correctly, so both of the chests go into the red player, delivering him for 600 in gold and wood, so he's floating quite above 1k. And then under obelisk and a slingshot. I'm not sure why the slingshot exactly. Probably he's facing a lot of helicopters. We don't see Ramses going any, but at the same time Karl Sonchek is quite clueless about his opponent's strategy because he's not scouting by any means. Actually, he could have used the all-seeing eye. I'm not sure about that.
Forces are under attack.
It seems to me like all the energy is present, so none of the energy slipped away from our attention, but I'm not exactly sure. So a little bit of the weird micro here. It seems to me like a couple of warsmiths were pressed hold position, so they didn't participate in the fight. But anyway, the golden idol go to the Ramses name. He's also kind of protecting the mana well with the Tower of Mana. They actually don't interact at all, but we witnessed a couple of newer players trying to squeeze Tower of Mana next to the mana well, probably assuming that something's gonna happen. In reality, nothing happens, but it's understandable why at least it can feel this way, like something might be happening because of that. Alright, so Ramses keeps creeping the control towers all around the map, gaining a bit of activity. I really like this map layout, by the way. How it looks. You probably know that this one is from the campaign. Well, actually, I'm not sure if we released it yet. It's gonna be a prison where the chieftain will be starting almost Daggerfall style, the Elder Scrolls style. Like you are the prisoner, need to break out. Probably our story is a bit different. You're not gonna kill dragon, but who knows actually? There is a dragon on the main screen when you load into the game, right? Maybe you will even have to defeat this one. But anyways, we can see that Karl Sonchek is about to get the ship. He's probably unaware of the fact that there is nothing to do with the ship on this map, so it is... Oh, actually he could have just have an errand on the ship. So, who knows, but... Anyway, in the meantime, he used the Great Ring of Fire on the archers, so a couple of archers went down, but all the red units went down as well, and in the meantime Ramses is defending this position with the neatly placed towers. And no way these dark units with a hero is gonna to break this position. So, shipyard completed. No ships are being built. There's nothing to acquire really in the sea on this map. And we can see Ramses keeps producing the archers and the healers. Well, actually, if you are willing to go this deep in mass archer, I'd probably suggest adding the third drugs as well. Or the other way around, you may also add the factory, or the second sanctuary, or build the wind mage out of the first sanctuary that you're gonna upgrade. But just 2 racks is not sufficient, which we can see by the blue player having way too many gold. But I'd like him seeing probably adding one more worker to get even more wood. But actually the fifth one is back on mining, so it seems fine. In the meantime, Karl Sonchek tacked up to his undead branch, combining the zombies with the X-Masters. It's not really a common combination, honestly. And what he is doing here, though, is quite a classic stuff to do. So Chieftain is tanking, and at the same time zombies are farming these rats, so there are like 5 zombies, 6 zombies. How many rats there were? Only 5. So 5 zombies, but it is for free, so he has the extra supply right now. And it is a great time to fight. It is interestingly that the blue player controls the watchtower, so he was able to drop a magic blast on the zombies. And in return there is the ring of fire, and zombies must be attacking archers, not the warsmith. The warsmith is a terrible choice, but they still kill one. But no! Chieftain stolen the warsmith from the zombies. Not the greatest execution, honestly. Hardly a unit was killed by the zombies. We can see many skeletons. Skeleton means that it wasn't zombie to kill a unit. So Necromancer can raise it up, but it won't be becoming zombies. So actually the rats' extra food was wasted in vain, which is a very unlucky thing to happen to the red player. So Ramses finding the shipyard, destroying it. It doesn't really mean anything, but Ramses will have even more activity in case the game will take 1 hour and will be forced to end in 1 hour. Activity then comes into play. And then Ramses would be obviously leading, because he's taking watchtower, he's controlling the idol, and he also killed more units and even one building already. So he's above in every single portion of activity. The only good thing for red player is the red player took more chests, but the chests are not included into the activity system as per currently. So it is not important for the winning for activity percentage. So Goblin Labs been added. I'm not sure if the player even have the second hero, either of them, because we don't see any of them adding the second hero, attempting to do so. The blue player tried to build one more tower closer to the opponent, and we also see him adding the Venom Speechers. The blue player has quite a bit of the healers, the 5 healers, so Venom Speechers might become useful. But he really needs to figure out how to migrate, because he really needs to make his zombies to finish off the units. And to make it, you really have to pay attention whichever enemy's units have less HP, and force all the other units to stop attacking it and to switch to the next target to let your zombie to last him. It is really an important part. And now a mistake out of Karl Sonchek. He probably was about to use the Ring of Fire. We can even see enough mana left, but he probably misread the icons. We are actually aware of this issue, that a few players often choose the wrong icon. It happens to the scrolls, the Circle of Power against the Ring of Fire. It happens to a couple of buildings, so we are gonna address this later. So we will adapt the icons to make them more different. It doesn't really happen often to me personally, but I'm just aware that it is an issue for some players, and we just witnessed how it may happen, the way it may happen. So anyway, 15 minutes in the game. That means that the 3 chests are about to pop up.
Resources collected.
And the red player neatly steals at least one of them. Archer is not smart enough to step in, but probably she is. So Bomber's about to take that girl out. Well, actually 2 bombers for 1 archer is way too expensive. So Karl Sonchek figured that out. And microed it a bit.
Resources collected.
Now he really needs to save this X-Master throughout the left part of the map, but it seems that he chose the opposite direction. Not a greatest fan of this, but at the same time, the small bomber stole in the watchtower and approaching the second chest. Alright, what's happening in the dark player space? We can see the rocks being queued with like dozens of the units. You never want to do this. Obviously, you want to add the second barracks. Well, actually, the 2 dark gates is fine. The workshop is missing, but probably he just doesn't have drills, I'm not sure. He's probably not the biggest fan of those. Oh, this bomber obviously should have taken the mana well. Yet he has a chance to do. But wasn't microed probably, so he just randomly picked a building to attack to commit to. And also the Goblin Lab. I'm not sure about this Goblin. Oh, actually it is for the bombers, right? So it is the good call. But apart from that, the dark player has kind of a weird combination. Now the perfect ring of fire with the great chieftain ability. A lot of light units go down. There is a couple of necromancers. Active ability still broken in my client, it seems. We already fixed it in our production version, but it seems that my build is a bit outdated. But anyway, they're trying to make more skeleton warriors so they can split damage a bit, they can take damage a bit, while the other units probably will survive longer thanks to that, but didn't really work, I'd say. So Karl Sonchek is being dropped to the very low supply once again, finally adding the second barracks, and his production is slowly becoming kind of normal. Well, honestly, what I would suggest, apart from adding the second rocks, is actually, when he goes the next attack, especially if he still, since he have Necromancer, to take all the workers from the wood and send them in the front line. Because look, he's up to 7k wood. He wouldn't need that many in next few minutes, right? So he can freely spend those workers, so they tank. So your actual units will live longer, because workers will be in the first line. And that means that you can have even more supply. You can safely take down the towers with the bombers, take a couple of units with the zombies, get even more zombies, and in the meantime you just casually build 2 or 3 workers to just keep having the wood and have the spare workers to build. But yet again he keeps spending... Oh, he decided to actually swap from the aeronauts idea to the drills idea, it seems, adding the second workshop. So it is a decisive move, I like it. I'm not really sure how drills are gonna work, but I like that the player makes a bold decision. So he sees that what he's doing is not really working, so he's trying the different things. It is a really great approach to the game and something that you have to respect, I guess. And what I don't really like about Ramses' play, that he's not doing anything of what I told, but at the same time he can't tell that what he's doing is not working, because it rather is working, because he keeps his opponent under the pressure, he still controls the Golden Idol throughout all the game, and also the Watchtower, so Ramses legitimately winning the game all the game long. So probably he just thinks that his strategy works. I don't really like him throwing all the chest, obviously, but it's probably not the greatest issue.
The point is captured.
You can see how he's higher on gold because he lost less units, and also he's controlling the idol. And of course, on the course of the 15-minute long, the idol gives you a tremendous amount of gold, because in the end the gold is what's limited. The trees are also limited, but I didn't ever saw a game where all the trees would be cut, and obviously I saw a lot of games where all the gold would be mined. So in the end the gold is what's limited. So of course idol gives you a greatest edge to end up the game on top. But anyways, a nice designed little counterattack. Now the archers have to be pulled back, even with all the healers, really. And at the same time, of course, the dark player engages to the front lane. It makes a perfect sense. Nice ring of fire. Now the healers don't really heal anyone, they just heal each other. And zombies trying to do their stuff, not being microed greatly again. Unfortunately, just one warsmith was finished off by the zombie. He should have really split those better, but the longer game goes, we can see the better zombies are being controlled. And now that the dark player is a bit short of units, he tries to pull back, but probably should have done that even earlier. I don't really like Goblin Lab that far behind, by the way. Being placed in the front, it could have been also useful for healing. And now, because there's no impact on the battle, X-Masters try their best to take someone down. And just one tower of dark magic barracks is about to go down, and it seems that even with all the ideas that Karl Sonchik had, the Ramses, doing the very basic stuff, just keeps spamming the archers and the healers, is about to come on top. But we can see how the red player spams the aeronauts out of 2 workshops. Is quite high on money still, so he has the money to work with. 1 barracks go down, but at the same time all the dark gates can produce units, and all the workshops can produce units. And look what Karl Sonchik decided to go for. He actually tries to retreat with the Chieftain. Chieftain still goes down. You can notice in the previous fight how the Altar of Heroes were focused down, so no hero is gonna be resummoned for the dark player right now. But the decision I mentioned is that he sent all the aeronauts to the counterattack. The reason for that is obvious, because there are the 3 towers that can shoot air, and also a dozen of archers, and also even the elven tree being placed into the red player's face. So the necromancy won't be working, including the zombies magic, but at the same time these units really do the great job forcing all the light army to be pulled back, and at the same time those units also do a significant damage to the building, because you probably know that recently we reduced the durability of the production building and also the first tier of the main building, but there was the barracks 1, so barracks 1 are really vulnerable to any kind of damage comparing to what they used to be, so even such units as aeronauts and venom speeders can take those down rather quickly. So it is what we witness. So the light player is literally left without production apart from the sanctuary. So he can probably start adding the wind mages, but I wonder if you even want to make the wind mages against the 2 workshops. Not to mention the 2 dark gates, but venom speeders against the wind mage kinda... I'm not sure who has the upper hand. It really depends on the micro. And honestly, the same thing goes for aeronauts, because if all the dark units will be stuck together, obviously because of the splash damage, wind mages will win, but if they will be splitted widely, then wind mages will lose, and it is also a complicated question if you think that your enemy will miss micro. Probably they will, or probably they won't. It is up to you to try to probably disable the units with gravity or something to prevent them from being splitted on time. It is still a skillful thing to do, though, from both sides, and this is one. It is an interesting stuff to play. Alright, at the same time, Fox Rider comes to steal the Well of Mana again. Also try to do the damage. The racial building in the first tier became more vulnerable as well. But the Fox Rider have the penalty to the buildings, just as the Knights and the Warg Riders. So it is the reason why Fox Rider can take it down quickly. And what about the Tower of Mana? It didn't change, so it still survives long. I don't really like it that Ramses is not even trying to repair stuff, because repair obviously helps a lot and helps you to win more time. And what I'd love to see out of Karl Sonchek is an attack at the same time to the front, but suddenly he doesn't have anything to attack. Oh, what this move is! He's just casually throwing out the healers to feed the zombies. It is such a mistake. I'm not sure what happened. Probably just really a misclick, misstep. By the way, what I can suggest you guys, if you play on the phone, then you can disable the function in the settings that sticks the interface to one of the sides where your phone has the camera. So if you make it not stick to the side, so there will be a gap between the edge of the screen and the interface, and in this gap the taps are not counted. So you won't be misstepping with your palm that often. At least for me, it's really helpful. I'd love to make it on the both sides of the phone actually, but it doesn't work right now. It only works for that side of the phone where you have the face cam, but it is already better than nothing. So I assume that probably Ramses made a misstep like that, but he also noticed that on time, so he pulled back. The healers didn't lose a lot, and interestingly enough, the dark player is currently higher on food, and those guys are about to join the game, it seems. He can't even produce everyone he queued in the workshops. Yeah, unluckily they won't be able to dig throughout this wall. because it
Just
is
found.
an unpenetratable obstacle. But drills seem to be going for the counter-attack. Well, actually drills are great against the archers, because they're very beefy. Zombies are terrible against artillery towers, so this has been microed really poorly once again. So, well, it is actually understandable, because obviously it is complicated to play an RTS on the phone, but still
Base is under attack.
it can be done better than this. But I don't really sort of blame Karl Sonchik. Obviously he tries to do the best he can, but I just say what I see, that zombies unfortunately don't work currently. They really require better execution. But at the same time, drill in the counterattack start destroying the buildings, because they have the great damage, the great amount of damage, so they really can take down the buildings quickly. But what about defense? I'm not sure that the dark player can defend. The interesting part that he's actually food capped. So even though he's been destroyed, because his units were on the other side of the map, he actually can't even produce the units to defend his base. So I wonder if he's about to be eliminated because of that. But we'll see.
Base is under attack.
The other bad part for Karl Sonchik is that he doesn't have
Under attack.
any mana wells whatsoever. Probably he has used some kind of the Ring of Fire or whatever.
Base is under attack.
Alright, so the Chieftain pops out, and also the Necromancers do their job, and
Forces are under attack.
probably the Drill somewhat. Drill still not started actually. But Goblin Lab finally came into play for a bit,
Base is under attack.
and at the same time the Drills destroying everything, leaving Ramses with 4k gold and literally zero production. He doesn't have a single production building, only this elven tree, but the tree can't produce anything. Karl Sonchik adding the Tower of the Dark Magic, also the barracks obviously, and barely surviving with the units he kept adding in the meantime, in the process. I don't really like him losing the Chieftain for nothing, but what's good about his strategy is that he obviously destroying the light player with the drills. And the interesting part here is what would be the correct answer from the blue player to those drills. What come to my mind first is obviously the copters, but the problem that the factory could have been taken down easily, so probably it would be a nice thing to do to place it somewhere like here, to add a couple of copters and then start to attack the drills, so they will finally take down the drills, and then you just want to repair the buildings to win more time, use the fortification if you have it, and keep dealing damage to the drills. So that could have probably been a key to successfully defend your base as a light player. And in the meantime, probably throwing the army against the base wasn't the great idea either. So I'm not sure if diving was finally... It was understandable, because it seemed like the blue player was winning, right? It seemed like like Ramses won the game, Karl Sonchik lost, but in reality it is very hard to dive into the base where all the buildings are receiving damage, and in the meantime the enemy's units can attack you once or twice for free, and all the production spams the thing straight on the battlefield, so it is also hard. So he probably could have just chill a little bit, calm down a little bit, pull back. But what he's trying to do now, and his idea now, is probably to get enough resources, because he can actually build a castle. Why not? There is a gold mine, right? It is even protected with the towers, so why wouldn't you build a castle? In the meantime, Karl Sonchik checked the bottom right position to make sure that there is no castle in there, but even the reds haven't been killed there. So the dark player could actually want to do it himself. Now he finds a healer, an unlucky little elfin girl. Wrong time, wrong place. And it seems that the dark player is finally decided to go for it. Just select everything, press a nice double tap into the middle of this screen, and this game finally comes to Karl Sonchik, who showed the great patience and also the very nice decision to go base trade, where he tried once, he tried twice, he tried thrice, I believe it's called that, but it didn't work, and he said, alright, I'm not gonna fight you under your towers anymore. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna destroy your base because you don't have anything in there. And probably I can defend, or at least my drills, my aviation will kill your base faster. Then I will repair everything, spam out everything, and I will defend for longer. And it worked, so I think that was a great decision, and in general, a very good strategical play out of the red player, even though we witnessed a couple of mistakes in micro, but strategically it was, I'm not gonna say perfect, but it was a nice game to see. At least so I think, so let me know what you think. And at this spot I'm gonna wrap it up. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.